Cultural heritage conservation. What is it? Professionals get it, and enthusiasts are eager to learn more. For everyone, the key lies in words. Words to describe, define, understand, and share. Words are containers, holding the concepts they express, their history, and their regular usage by those familiar with them, carrying everything, even the invisible, as well as the unseen dynamics they generate. So, welcome to Interfaces, the podcast, a place where I, Simona Sayeva, conservation engineer, dive into the words of cultural heritage conservation. Why interfaces? Because they are frontiers and contact zones where different ideas and practices meet, shaping our understanding of cultural heritage. With every word, we will explore the shaded corner of conservation with a personal touch. From authenticity to religion, each episode dives deep into a single key term that embodies this intricate field. If you want to enjoy art and heritage conservation, this podcast is for you. Join me on this exploratory journey through interfaces, where words connect us to the past and guide us toward a sustainable future in cultural heritage conservation. Stay tuned and follow my podcast on Spotify to receive updates on the latest episode. Thank you for your support and happy listening. Let's get started. Time. Time is more than a measure of seconds, minutes, and years. It's a force, a constant reminder of change, and sometimes it seems to remind us just how easily a month can slip by. As for the last one, in conservation, time confronts us. It challenges us to reflect on our limits and reminds us that not everything is within our control. But time also gives us something very valuable, the chance to understand cycles, to find balance, and to build a conservation practice that are thoughtful, collaborative, and built to endure. Let's explore how time teaches us to care for heritage and why this understanding carries so much responsibility. Time goes by so slowly. Let's start with the idea of change. Time is at its heart change in motion. It erodes, reshapes, and redefines everything it touches, whether it's a mural painting weathering centuries on a wall or an ancient sculpture standing steadfast through generations. Time is not static, and neither is heritage. Time confronts us with the idea of change and reminds us of our limits. No matter how skilled we are, we cannot stop the natural process of aging or prevent materials and structure from decaying over time. This humbling thought also reveals a deeper truth. Time shapes everything within cycles of transformation. Instead of resisting, we'd better learn to accept change as part of the conservation process. Time is an active force that demands thoughtful balance. In architectural heritage, for example, each part reacts to this ongoing shift, adapting silently to its surroundings. Whether it's a structural element or a decorated surface, these adjustments may not always be visible, but they are ever present. Time as a cycle. To truly understand the time is to see it as a cycle. Structures adjust over time, seeking new balances as conditions change. Buildings shift under environmental pressures, gravity, humidity, and temperature changes, and decoration respond to those movements. This interconnected system shows us that everything is part of a larger pattern. It's just a question of dimensional scales. Heritage is not a collection of separate elements, but a cohesive system shaped by time. Each part, decorations, structural parts, foundation, and the surrounding environment, is connected through a cycle of interaction. Time doesn't just act on these parts individually, but on the relationships between them, creating constant change. Understanding these cycles reshapes how we approach conservation. It pushes us to move beyond restoring a single moment in history and instead consider how the entire system evolves over time. This perspective leads us to a more realistic work approach, one that prioritizes collaboration, accepts compromise, and recognizes that conservation is most effective when it works alongside time, not against it. In this broader and forward looking perspective, avoiding loss entirely is utopian. Conserving heritage often requires thoughtful decisions and balance. The choices we make today must reflect this understanding, ensuring that heritage remains meaningful and enduring. At the same time, we must also recognize that time does not move forward smoothly. It is made up of cycles, and within these cycles, dramatic events are inevitable. Earthquakes, floods, storms, and other disruptions may feel unpredictable in their timing, but their occurrence is certain. These events are an undeniable part of the cycles that shape heritage and its context, both natural and built. This reality makes it even more critical to be aware of risks, not just those directly linked to the heritage we seek to conserve, but also those tied to its surroundings. A decoration, a building, or a historic site cannot be separated from the environment it inhabits. By acknowledging the inevitability of these events, we take a crucial step toward creating conservation practices that are realistic, resilient, and grounded in the understanding that heritage does not exist in isolation. Preparing for the unexpected is not about controlling the uncontrollable, but about ensuring that heritage can endure, adapt, and recover within the cycles of time, while also embracing the inevitability of change and loss. Embracing time, embracing responsibility. Time places a responsibility in our hands. Every action we take as a conservation professional has lasting consequences. By working with time, not against it, we become stewards of continuity. Heritage isn't static, it evolves as structures, materials, and histories respond to time. Our role is to respect these changes and allow them to guide thoughtful decisions. This understanding grew through recent collaboration between two ICOMOS international scientific committees, ISCMP, which I chair, is dedicated to the conservation of mural paintings. ICORP, on the other hand, specializes in risk preparedness and response. This collaboration was initiated by the Universitat Politecnica de Valencia for EXCISS, an international conference on mural painting conservation in extreme conditions. Preparing the inaugural keynotes allowed us to think about integrating our approaches to dramatic changes, and the discussion naturally turned to the theme of time. These exchanges highlighted how risks and resilience are deeply tied to the cycles of time. As usual, you can find references to this conference in the episode notes. Dramatic events like earthquakes and floods may feel unpredictable, but their occurrence is certain. They are part of time cycles. To conserve heritage, we must prepare for these events by understanding not just the vulnerabilities of artifacts, but also their context. Conservation means ensuring heritage can adapt and recover while accepting the inevitability of change and even loss, as we said. By respecting time and its cycles, we don't just preserve artifacts, we safeguard the connections between communities, cultures, and stories for generations to come. Conclusions, choices, and cycles. Time, as we have explored, is more than something we measure. It's something we live through. It challenges us to see behind immediate actions, reminding us of change, limits, and the need for balance and compromise. In conservation, we understand that our intervention is the Brandiano momentum, a single frame in a much longer film. But stopping at this frame or imagining it will endlessly repeat ignores the dynamic nature of heritage. Change and loss are inevitable. Conservation must work with time, not against it. Collaborations, like the one between ICOMOS, ISCMP, and ICORP, deepen this understanding. During the EXCISS conference, our shared approaches to risks and resilience naturally led to the theme of time, highlighting its cycles and the responsibility they place on us. Being risk aware and preparing for dramatic events ensures heritage can endure, adapt, and recover within these cycles. Our actions today shape tomorrow's legacy. By respecting time, we safeguard not just buildings or artifacts, but the connections that hold stories, cultures, and communities together. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of time. Don't forget to check the episode notes and stay tuned for the next episode of Interfaces, the podcast. As we wrap up this episode of my podcast Interfaces, I wanted to thank you for joining me on this exploration of cultural heritage conservation through words. I'd like to extend my gratitude to the amazing team behind this podcast. Media, Salvatore Melluso, for expertly crafting our audio experience. Graphic design, Emanuela Nosari, for creating our striking visuals. Language, Tanya Yakubenko, for ensuring our message resonates clearly. If you enjoyed our discussion and are interested in delving deeper into these topics, especially for my Italian listener, be sure to check out my books: Conservazione delle decorazioni architettoniche, Il ruolo delle strutture di supporto, published in 2022, and my latest release, Pitture murali, I degradi di origine meccanica, metodologia per restauratori e ingegneri. You can find links to these books and all the references mentioned in this episode in the show notes. Don't forget to check them out. Stay tuned and make sure to follow my podcast on Spotify by hitting the follow button to receive updates on the latest episodes. You can also show support by rating the podcast with stars. This helps more listeners discover the podcast. Thank you for your attention today, and I look forward to having you join us in the next episode of Interfaces, the podcast.